Octavia has been a hugely successful model for Skoda, not just in India but world over. But to be brutally honest, the previous iterations of this car have had it relatively easy. You see, those cars came in at a time when sedans were still sought after. And with that in mind, this 4th generation model has its work cut out. The popularity of the D-segment sedan has been plummeting over the past half a decade, so much so that manufacturers have been forced to discontinue their models. The question then is, will the Octavia reap the benefits of being one of the few models on sale in that category? Or is Skoda being too bullish about the success of a sedan in a time when SUVs are ruling the roost? Well, there's only one way to find out. Although this 4th generation Octavia gets an all-new design, it continues to get a lot of signature Skoda elements. Like the butterfly grille up front is now a little bit flatter from the top and gets a bolder chrome surround. Lower down on the bumper, you get a very familiar belt and a chrome strip that runs across the width of the car, but now extends to form a surround for the fog lamps as well. While a lot of folks had an aversion to the older car's split headlamp setup, frankly, I was never really opposed to it. Nevertheless, this car gets sleeker headlamps that sync well with the rest of the design. The clamshell bonnet continues to get creases just like before, but it is now a little bit arched, which I feel robs it of some of its sharpness. In the side profile, the elegance and size of the new Octavia really comes to fore. The new Octavia is 19 mm longer than before and now sits on smart-looking multi-spoked alloy wheels. Unlike the older model that had a textbook 3-box saloon silhouette, this one's roof blends into the boot to give it a sportback sort of an appeal. The rear 3/4 is easily the best angle to look at the Octavia from. Although the taillights look heavily inspired by the larger Superb, it gives the Octavia an extremely satisfying, clean and sharp look. The absence of other badges except the Skoda lettering and the Octavia lettering further add to that feeling. While on the outside, the Octavia feels more like an evolution of its predecessor, on the inside, there is a sea of change. The multi-layered dashboard looks absolutely elegant. There is a mix of materials, varied materials all around. You get some suede on the face of the dash. There's some gloss black materials. There's soft touch material at the top of the dash. The overall layout is extremely clean and it reflects on the design team's obsession to keep things tidy. And to that end, I really love the tiny little gear lever that you get in the center. The Octavia makes use of shift-by-wire technology, which electronically connects to the transmission instead of mechanical linkages. This essentially allows Skoda to do away with the traditional gear lever, thereby making more space in the cabin. While I truly appreciate the minimalistic approach to the overall cabin, I really wish there was rotary knobs for the aircon controls. Right now, while you can easily adjust the temperature just by pushing a button on the touchscreen, you have to fidget with the buttons on the center console and the screen to adjust the fan speed. The 10-inch touchscreen infotainment display is crisp but a wee bit difficult to operate, for it seems a bit too slow to respond as you slide through the menu options. In terms of features and tech, the Octavia gets wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, iBus fatigue alert and hands-free parking. While the new Octavia gets some connected text as well via the My Skoda Connect app, it doesn't offer a very comprehensive solution. It even misses out on some key features like a sunroof, engine start-stop function, ventilated seats and a 360-degree camera, all of which you would expect in a car of this class. As is the norm with all the new Skoda cars, this one too gets a virtual cockpit. Skoda claims that this is an updated unit, but the overall layout of the instrument cluster remains largely unchanged, and that is a bit of a disappointment. There's also a new 2-spoke steering wheel, the same one that made its debut in the Superb earlier this year. It feels nice and chunky to hold, it feels really premium, and what adds to the overall feeling are these knurled controls on the steering wheel.
The real USP of the Octavia, like all other premium Skoda offerings, is the simply clever features. In addition to the signature umbrella holder in the front doors, the Octavia also gets an integrated funnel in the windscreen washer reservoir cap, a mobile holder in the seat back, easy open cup holders, and lots of anchor points for tying down luggage in the boot. Space at the back is good even for taller passengers. The rear doors, however, don't open wide, which does make ingress and egress a bit difficult. Passengers at the back get sun blinds, aircon vents, but the Octavia misses out on the power nap package. There are 4 USB ports in the cabin, but unfortunately all of them are Type-C ports.
The third generation Skoda Octavia was on sale with 2 petrol engine options, a 1.4 litre TSI and a 1.8 litre TSI. There was also a 2 litre TDI diesel on offer. Skoda also offered multiple automatic and manual transmission options. This time around, the 4th gen Skoda Octavia can only be had with a 2 litre TSI engine option and a 7-speed DSG transmission. This unit here makes 187 bhp, which is 10 bhp more than before, and torque rating stands at 320 Nm, which is a meaty 70 Nm more than before. Despite the increased output, Skoda claims the Octavia returns 15.8 km to a litre in comparison to the 3rd generation model's 15.1 km to a litre. Efficiency aside, the 2 litre TSI feels an absolute hoot to drive. We have tested it before on the Superb and we loved it so much that we gave it a spot in a best of 2020 mega test. The beauty of this engine is in the fact that it makes its peak torque lower in the rev range around the 1800 RPM mark, and it remains strong in its mid-range too. In fact, it doesn't quite shy away from revving hard either. The 7-speed DSG is absolutely smooth for the most part. In fact, when you put it in the drive mode, it moves through the gears very seamlessly, very smoothly, but switch into sport and the downshifts are a little bit jerky.
The Octavia's ride quality is equally impressive too. The suspension is tuned for comfort and does a great job of absorbing undulations. Our shoot location demanded a drive on some horribly laid roads, but the Octavia showed no signs of discomfort. During our drive with just 2 of us on board, the Octavia's ground clearance felt sufficient for the most part. This means that its 106 mm of ground clearance in the fully loaded condition may require you to be cautious while maneuvering over large potholes and speed breakers. The soft nature of the suspension does affect the handling of the Octavia. Attack a corner at speed and the body roll becomes quite evident. There is a bit of understeer too, but it doesn't feel loose or slacking by any means.
The 4th gen Octavia is in every way a huge improvement over its predecessor. The interior feels absolutely contemporary and they feel plush as well. Leaving aside a long list of connected tech, it comes reasonably well equipped too. The biggest plus point of the new Octavia is the 2 litre TSI heart that packs more punch than the old 1.8, and it feels a lot more smoother as well. And then there are those aspects that the Octavia has always been known for: comfort and practicality, both of which are offered in abundance. Skoda will only bring the Octavia in 2 variants to start with, the Style and the LNK. Expect the Czech car maker to price it around the 25 to 30 lakh price bracket, and that could be a huge cause of concern for the brand. With that in mind, will the Octavia bring sedans back into trend? Probably not. But there will always be a few takers who opt for the Octavia over an SUV, just like those individuals who love the feel of a hardbound book, even in an era of digital devices.